Hello and welcome to It's a Sure Thing, the conscious community collective platform for people to share about the difference that they're making in their own personal lives and in the world, in the collective. It's about sharing, it's about growing, it's about learning together and uplifting one another. So every week we have a different guest that comes on and is part of the Enlightened Tribe collective and community. So you can actually access their details from the susure.com.au global wellness online directory at any time and have a look at the events that they've got coming up as well anywhere in the world. Please do ask your friends to join in, your family to join in, because we're going to have a really exciting night tonight because I'm going to be interviewing an amazing woman who I've known for a number of years, and I actually went along and had a session with her this week. And I've done a lot of stuff in the last 15 years of working in the wellbeing industry. I've tried a lot of things, and this blew my mind. So I know you're going to love Kristin McKenzie from Kristin Mckenzie Coaching and Consulting. Please welcome her to the show in a moment. And yeah, she'll be able to share with you all of the incredible modalities that she uses to really nut out and find the quickest way to fast track you to happiness. So it's just incredible. So she uses a number of different things and goes through a whole process, but it's rapid, it's instant, and it doesn't come back. So whatever you want to let go of, it's an instant thing. So I was there for quite a while, and there was a lot of things that I just let go of. So we don't have to go into the story, but I'll let her explain all of that. She's a wealth of knowledge and information. She's done so many different things to increase her professional training. And so, yeah, please welcome Kristin McKenzie. Hey, Kristin, how are you?
Good. I am very well, and I'm very excited to be here and to share what I have to give and what I know to help people get some results in their life. Quick, sustainable results.
Fantastic. And I know that people will really love to hear this. And as I've experienced myself, which is really, really great. Let's start at the beginning. So hi, Ros, for joining us from South Australia. Thank you. Hi. So when people book a session with you, you can do it via Zoom, or they can come to your space at Phil. And what actually happens? I mean, I can describe what happened to me, but what brought you to where you are today?
All right, that's a really great place to start, because I think that will really explain why I do exactly what I do now, and why my passion really is for helping people to move beyond, any mental, emotional or physical illness challenges that they have in the shortest time possible. And it was over 20 years ago. So my learning journey, my education journey has been going on for over 20 years now. And what I found was that it doesn't matter how much we learn intellectually, we get perspective sometimes that shifts us very quickly, but for the most part, it doesn't create the change that we're looking for. And so through my own frustration and me being so fed up with my own suffering, I guess, for want of a better word, my own frustration with not really being where I wanted to be in life, is then I started to ask bigger questions. And if you know me, I am absolute knowledge nerd. Like, I love research. There's not a day that goes by that I don't have my head in something. And so, it was very intellectual, but then started to delve more into the science side of things. So I've looked at so many different modalities and tried to find answers through many different modalities and different cultural ways to enlightenment. And then eventually found my way to science. And the beautiful thing about science now, Sue, is that it's starting to take the mysticism out of spirituality. So spirituality has always been deemed to be something outside of ourselves, whereas science, and we know it's in us, we'll still seek things outside of us. Whereas science is now very pragmatically explaining to us how we create and what spirituality is. So for me, being a knowledge nerd, I could get my head around that. So then I started to delve into stuff that very quickly and very succinctly works with the subconscious mind. And so then starting to understand, well, our thoughts create our reality. I knew that forever. But how do we change them? And having modalities that change our thinking. But that then led me to ask the question, well, it's not just our thoughts that we're programmed with. We also have habitual patterns of feeling. And so then it led me to study a modality that helps to identify and release all our trapped emotions from the past. And then went on to study an advanced modality, which is called the body code, that gives us the greatest scope to be able to communicate with the subconscious mind. And for the subconscious mind, or more to the point, our intelligent database, to tell us exactly what's causing whatever it is that we're experiencing, identify the direct imbalances and release them, resolve them, balance them on the spot. And that's what you experienced. And that's the wow factor in the complexity of who we are as a person. And you cannot just look at yourself as a three-dimensional being. You can't just look at yourself as structural. We do have an energy body that incorporates our spirit, but you can't just look at yourself as spiritual. You also have a three-dimensional body that can get imbalances that give you symptoms that seem spiritual. So this takes guesswork out of it.
Oh, and I'll just share there. First of all, just say hello to Melissa B, who's just joined us.
Hi,
Melissa. So when I came along, you asked me to have at least one or two things that I wanted to work on. And I don't mind sharing, and people that know me will know this about me. It was my fear of letting go and not being in control. And I wanted to unblock that block of always needing to know and always being planned and organized, and what, there's a trauma response there. So without going into too much detail, because I could talk forever on what experience I had, you were my surrogate, and you tested my energy field with what's it called?
The body code, or kinesiology?
The kinesiology. So you were testing it for me so that you could do it as fast as possible, rather than waiting for me to have a story around it. There was no need for that. And I was trying to find a story, and you were like, nah, it's okay. We've done. We've cleared it. Boom. And it was next. And I loved that, because I didn't get stuck in it. I didn't get stuck in the story. And it kept coming back to worthiness and
I think we reword that worthlessness.
Worthless. Thank you. There you go. I've already changed it. See, because of that session. So worthlessness kept coming up as the blocked emotion, and it went back 60 generations on my father's side. 60, and we went back to the year 222.
We worked it out, didn't we?
We worked it out, and it was like absolutely unbelievable. And so that just kept coming up in different questions that you were asking me, and my body was responding to those reactions. So it is that energetic vortex. It is that the quantum physics, and it was amazing. It was amazing, and we could have gone on and on and on.
And we will. We'll continue.
We will.
So let me explain to you how it works. So just for our viewers, to give you a perspective, if you think of yourself like a temple, and within your temple, within your sacred temple, is every single known bit of information about you, from everything that you've consciously collected along your path since you've been on the planet, to things you've inherited, to things that you've come in with. And within your temple, you have a structural temple, which is your physical body, but you also have an energetic and a spiritual body in there. And so within the spirit body, as an example, you can have a meridian that's not balanced. You can have your spirit body that's not aligned. You can have, what else have we got? We've got auras, you've got a spirit body, you've got chakras that can be misaligned. So these are the areas that you can get a misalignment in your spirit body that can show up. If you think of yourself a bit like an iceberg, all of our workings and all of our secrets and all of the answers are beneath the waterline. And then we sit above here, experiencing life, literally like being on the end of a dog's tail, trying to find some level of peace and happiness up here. And we try and micromanage it here. But when we come in through underneath the waterline to where the secrets are all held, which is in your temple, we can then acknowledge fully that we're not just structural. We are spiritual as well. We're not just spiritual, we're structural as well. So the key here is, and it might just be a no-brainer, people go, of course, we're structural as well. But when you're up here and you're trying to problem solve and you're troubleshooting and you're using methods of, trial and error, you can be using spiritual modalities, and you can be using more of your traditional modalities that deal with the structural body, but you're still troubleshooting. So if you think about here as a temple, within your temple is a record keeper that knows everything about your personal records. That's your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind will never lie to you. It'll tell you anything you want to know. You've just got to frame your questions in the right way to get the answers. So the system that I used on you the other day absolutely acknowledges that we are structural and we are energetic and we are spiritual, but the different levels and layers within each of those where we can get imbalances, it offers up that opportunity to our subconscious mind to say precisely what's causing this physical problem, this emotional problem, these blocks that are, creating those problems for you on the surface that you're sick of. And so we just go in our subconscious mind, it tells us exactly what we need to do to fix it, and we fix it on the spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why the body code, which is one of the modalities I use, is the most advanced modality on the planet at this point in time that enables us to create change in any aspect of ourself on the spot.
And thank you for that explanation. That was absolutely
I hope I did that. Didn't drown anyone in information there, but that's
it was perfect. And the other thing that you mentioned to me is that not only is it your personal, but it's also your business. So you can actually do work on your business.
Yep.
And clear any blockages of receiving money and abundance.
Yep.
And Adair's actually asked a question. She'd love to be able to untangle emotions from food. Can it help with that?
Absolutely. We just ask the question, what's the underlying cause or reason for you not having discipline around food or not having control around food? You might, if you have ongoing weight issues, we can ask your intelligent gatekeeper, or not your gatekeeper, but your record keeper in your internal database. Is there an underlying cause or reason why my body is hanging on to fat, or my body's hanging on to weight, or why I don't seem to be able to lose weight? And it's all about how we frame the question. And at the end of the day, your subconscious mind knows exactly where you want to be, and it knows exactly what's in your best interest.
And the other thing that you can do is it actually goes down and it pinpoints whether it's in the tissues or whether it's in a particular organ. And then it's released.
Released, balanced, resolved. So let me just share a little bit. Remembering everything's energy. So even our structural bones and our muscles and our ligaments and our tendons still break down to little subatomic particles, actually. So everything's energy. And so these modalities that I use, and I've specifically chosen to specialize in them because because they're coming in through the subconscious mind and they are acknowledging that we are, 100% energy, it means that using energy, we can shift even muscles and bones. Now, you don't feel your neck go clunk, and we can certainly ask the question, does this joint need some outside assistance? It might be you need to go and see the chiropractor. So these modalities don't replace traditional medicine. They don't replace traditional therapies. What we're actually doing is we're decoding and rectifying the imbalances in the body that are creating our state of dis-ease. So the minute we remove any resistances or imbalances, the body just naturally goes back to balance, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the body is a self-healing mechanism. I mean, we've just forgotten that innate wisdom. And if we were taught this at school, I don't think anyone would ever get sick, and you'd just immediately just tap into your sacred temple and you'd be sorted.
It'll even tell you things that you need to support your body. So it will decode, essential oils. It'll decode herbs, spices, foods, proteins. It'll tell you whether your body's, if your body's not absorbing protein properly, if you're getting the wrong proteins in there, it'll direct you to the best source of protein. It doesn't prescribe drugs. It doesn't do any of that. It's more about naturally getting what we need from nature.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's
a list of supplements, Sue. It'll just tell you need this herb, this spice, this essential oil to support your body. So
fantastic intelligence. Fantastic.
Yeah, amazing intelligence.
And just responding to our energy field, responding to our being, responding to everything that you've said. So I love how you've described it, and I don't know whether I would have understood it to the depth that I do now after having experienced it, because, I have experienced quite a bit, and I was like, okay, we'll see what this is like. Boof, blew me out of the water. And the other thing that it has helped with me, and that's 60 years of generational worthlessness, it's just cleared down the generational line. I knew I came in this lifetime to clear some stuff, but I didn't realize it was going to be way back in the year 222.
give or take a couple of years,
Yeah. So, and then also the other thing, sorry to interrupt you there, but the other thing that it did was you checked whether it had actually absorbed or gone through the generational line to my son, and one of those emotions had, and you cleared it.
Yeah. So it's understanding, getting back to more of the quantum physics perspective on what we're doing here, because, I am very spiritual in my practices, but I'm very pragmatic in my approach to creating change for people. So, I take that very seriously, that I want you to get as much change in the shortest amount of time that we can do possibly, but also trusting your divine intelligent mind and body. So I'm losing my train of thought tonight. Must be at the end of the day. What was I talking about? It's creating, I don't know. So you help me out here.
Okay, so you were talking about because I was going into all to the fluffy stuff, and you were bringing it back to the scientific stuff and the.
Yes, thank you. Right, so we're 100% energy, and so what actually happens for us is that we go through life. We actually come in with stuff on our heart, so. We end up with these emotions on our heart that's there as a protection. There's lots of stuff that we come in with that's inherited, preconception, stuff that we absorb while we're in utero when we're being grown in our mummy's tummy, and then we collect a whole lot of junk along our path, from trauma to emotional stress to just really some interesting perceptions about ourselves and life. And every single one of those is energy. So when we look at emotions as an example, the emotion of worthlessness has a frequency to it. That's all emotions are, is frequencies of energy that we give a name to so that we can understand it and express it. But as we know, what love means to you, to me, can mean something very, very different. But regardless, it's a frequency of energy. So when you release an inherited emotion, that emotion has a frequency to it. And the minute that you dissolve it here within you, the frequency can no longer exist because you've released it. And that's why whenever we release or change anything that's generational or inherited, it erases it. Now, that doesn't mean that there's no worthlessness left in you, Sue. We've only done one session, but I bet if we look at your heart wall, there'll be worthless, 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 worthless. Because it's a frequency and because we're energy, we're governed by quantum physics. It says like attracts like, which means that if you come in with worthlessness on your heart already, and you come in with worthlessness even as a soul, and then within the uterus, you then absorb some worthlessness from your mum, we come in on the back foot already as an attractor factor for worthlessness. And then as we know, what we habitually think and what we habitually feel are attractor beacons. And for most of this audience, most of them will be awake. They'll understand that our thoughts and our feelings create for us. But the beauty of this work is, especially for people like you and I that have done a lot of work, we just go in and say, let's just get rid of this stuff. Let's give the subconscious mind and your body the opportunity to communicate, and let's just get rid of it. So in a session, it's really all about having fun. You know, for people who have strived and strived and strived and strived, and the more you know and the longer you're not where you want to be, that pressure builds up. Then you can become very disillusioned. You can get down on yourself, or you project it onto others. Whereas when you walk in to see me, it is like, just park it. Like, there's just a whole lot of stuff going underneath the waterline that you can't even possibly understand or even know or decode on the multi-levels of ways that we can get imbalances.
Yeah.
Park it. Surrender your conscious mind. I go into surrogation for your energy just to make it really quick and easy. And we just go bang, right, what's the cause? And we let the system and we let your subconscious mind guide us. You're just using a magnet. That's with the body code and the emotion code. And you're releasing it. And it's just meant to be this beautiful thing of, oh my God, I get to put this down, and I get to finally just get to the core of whatever I've been experiencing for a long time. And it's not limited to any one thing. It is whatever you've got going on, it can be explored. Yeah. Even hereditary diseases, even genetic disorders. Most of the time, it started with an ancestor somewhere. So, yeah, and it's easy and it's fun. And I just say to people, you having fun yet? And they're like, yeah, this is really cool. And that's the emotion code and the body code. You know, it doesn't even go into the Psych K stuff that very quickly transforms post-traumatic stress disorder. You know, it fascinates me. There's whole departments for this stuff, and it's just stress stored in your subconscious mind and your body, and you use the right tools and give the body the opportunity to release it, it will resolve.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you can go home and have a good sleep.
Yeah. It takes a few days. It takes a few days for that to move through the body. I've got another few days before it's totally integrated. I'm aware of that, because you also asked the question of my body, how long is it going to take to integrate? So I already know by Saturday it's going to be a lot better, and each day I'm just feeling more and more amazing, and just didn't realize, had no idea that came from all those generations ago.
We've only just got started on you, Sue. You wait. I want to share this analogy, just because I like to share analogies so that people who are visual get this.
Yeah.
Is that, think about yourself a little bit like an air balloon. So your air balloon basket is full of lead weights. And this is the other thing I was going to share, is that all of our emotional programming and our programming through our thoughts and things we come in with, those things are like lead weights. And they're literally frequencies of energy. So a trapped emotion is a frequency of energy, a low frequency of energy. And so if you have, approximately 70% of our thoughts and beliefs about ourselves aren't supportive, just as an example. And then you've got all of this emotional baggage from your past, and then you brought some in, is that your body is literally living in the past. You're living through vibrational memories. You're living through frequencies of energy that are memories from the past, thoughts, emotions, imbalances. And so by default, you can be here wanting to soar. And that's why it's so hard to create change. And we go learn, we try this modality and that modality, is because until you release those frequencies, those unsupportive beliefs, those trapped emotions, you're by default living in the past. So every time we release a trapped emotion, we create a balance, we change a limiting belief to a positive one, you're clearing out your clutter. So if you think about two beacons of water, one's clear, water's clear, one's murky. The only thing that makes that water murky is the grains of silt. Every time you throw out one of those grains of silt, you don't need to try and become clear, you just naturally do. And so every time we release one, there's a lead bar coming out of your air balloon basket, you just naturally get lighter. And that's what I use emotion code, body code for. And then the Psych K is about resetting your sat nav for the destination of where you want to go through rewiring your thoughts. It's good stuff.
It's brilliant stuff. Thank you so much. I do want to just acknowledge Corinna said hello. Corinna was on the show a few weeks back, and she does the Healy device, so energetic stuff, but
awesome.
A little bit similar but different, because they're all different. And Simon said, "Sounds amazing." Yes, I've been telling Simon all about it. So yes,
Hi,
it's
Simon.
Beautiful. So now then, we can get hold of you on your new website.
Yeah,
KristinMcKenzie.com.au.
Yes. No, not au, just .com. KristinMckenzie.com.
KristinMckenzie.com. That will show up in the comments shortly, and also in the next couple of days you'll be on the directory, on the Enlightened Tribe, a global online directory.
Yeah.
And you've also got your Facebook page and your Instagram pages, which are...
And I'm on LinkedIn as well, if anybody wants to have a look there. But ultimately my website, really, I've tried to keep it very simple. There's so many areas and categories that I can assist with, and my point of difference as a practitioner is that I deal with modalities that very quickly create change via the subconscious mind. But within those categories, you just click on what you're interested in rather than having to sift and sort through a whole lot of information. So I think you'll find most of what you want to know is on there. But you can always message me with questions.
That's it. And just book in for a Zoom session. You can do it anywhere in the world. This is a global platform. So Kristin, thank you. Not only for the session this week, but for being on the show. It's been a delight. And thank you everyone for listening. I hope that you'll get lots of bookings and can help people go from 0 to 100 in no time.
Quickly as they can. Quick, but not quicker. Quick, but not quicker than what's in their best interest. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. A pleasure.
And I'll see you. I look forward to seeing you soon.
See you soon. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.